This video is brought to you by Sony. Learn what happens when artists meet engineers.
What's going on, guys? I'm Jose Otero. I'm here with Brian Altano.
What's up?
And we're going to talk really quickly about two surprise announcements in today's Nintendo Direct. That Nintendo has two, I guess they don't want to use the words free-to-play associated with this, obviously. I mean, we met with them at some point, and they showed us both games. So it's Steel Diver Sub Wars, which has a free model and a premium model that you can download on the eShop today. And then there's Rusty's Real Deal Baseball, which is coming out in April. We don't have a firm date.
I love that title, by the way.
Yeah, you
Rusty's
do?
Real Deal Baseball is probably my favorite video game title of 2014.
Someone told me it was a bummer they didn't get Ken Griffey or something. That would have worked.
Oh, no, man. Rusty's the hottest player in the league right now. Don't worry about Ken Griffey. He's an old hat.
So Steel Diver, there's a free version that has full online play. You have some submarines, some of the single player, which in the premium version it's 7 missions. You get a couple of those. So the free version is kind of like a demo, but you have full online play to jump online. The way the game works is it's from first-person perspective, and you're basically shooting at other submarines. It looks a lot like the periscope mode from the original Steel Diver when the 3DS launched, but it has button controls for everything.
So when I first read about Steel Diver, and I saw what it looked like compared to what the version I played on 3DS, very different game. The 3DS version was very slow and clunky, and this kind of like little submarine moved in a 2D space and shot to 3D every now and then. But this is a first-person underwater shooter from Nintendo.
For the most part,
it's slow. It's not Call of Duty, right? Because in Call of Duty, you're usually not in a boat, but it's slow and it's free. Or you can pay to play more, but it's not free to play.
You can pay for the premium version that has a full single-player campaign, which is 7 missions long. Also online multiplayer, which you can play with the free guys or premium guys, but you all play together. They're not separated, so everyone's playing in one pool.
So that could cause some balance issues. Interestingly enough, right?
I'm a little concerned about that part.
So what if Jose buys a super sub? And I'm over here broke as hell.
Or there's a mechanic
my regular
game too, where you have crew members, and those crew members have certain statistical effects on your sub and how quickly you fire homing missiles, etc.
Your crew members are going to have Versace jackets on. Mine are going to be wearing jorts.
Well, they kind of work like perks, even though again they didn't want to use that as the term. And so I'm just wondering how it's going to play out. But inevitably, the idea here is if you like what you see in the free version, you will upgrade to the premium version, which was $9.99, I believe. Yeah, so that's on the eShop today. And Rusty's Real Deal Baseball. Now this one, we've talked about on IGN before, either on Nintendo Voice Chat or we have a feature as well about how Nintendo came up with a really cool free-to-play concept in Japan. So this is a localized version of a game in Japan called Garumeshi Sport Shop. And it's all about a dog who is a former pro baseball player and he has 10 kids. He's going through a tough time in his marriage.
10 kids?
He has 10 kids.
Of course he's going through a tough time in his marriage. Are you kidding me?
And he opens up a sports store, but since kids aren't into baseball, he decides to invest in video games in a company called Nintendo, not to be confused with Nintendo. It's really full of cute, charming localization. It's really good. And it's basically sports-themed mini games around baseball.
Yeah.
He gives you a demo cartridge for the 4DS that he gives you, and then you buy the additional cartridges separately.
But if you go in there and you listen to his stories and you slide him some donuts, he actually knocks the price down a little bit. Yeah. So you can haggle with this father of 10 to make his life even worse. So you can get games even cheaper, which is really interesting. I mean, remember when we first saw the big DLC store a few years ago was like the horse armor, right? Now, what if we had called up the company that was behind that and was just like, hey, make that horse armor free, and they're like, hold on, let me tell you about how hard things are at home. And you listen for a few minutes and they're like, horse armor's free. Like, okay, cool. That's a cool DLC model.
It is. It's very interesting because each game cartridge costs $4, and you can, you give him not a donut to start negotiations if you go about it that route, and then something that'll solve one of his problems, he'll cut the price of the item down. Also, through playing the game, you unlock items. There's sort of like a bingo card at the bottom screen, and every time you finish a playthrough of a minigame, you have a chance of getting an item. So you'll get other donuts, or you'll get other items he needs, or you'll get coupons that'll say, okay, 50% off right here, or half off right here. And you give those to him, and he will bring the price down. So in the Japanese version, each game costs 400 yen. I talked them down to 150. I haven't really been able to go down further. But I think there's a really cool system here of you know, playing around. It's sort of a meta game in a free-to-play game. And again,
Sure.
even though they don't want to call it that, that's essentially what it is. So it's kind of cool.
So how far do you think we are from Nintendo? I mean, I feel like Nintendo's testing this model out right now on some of these lesser-known games so that their fans can't be like, man, they jumped right into free-to-play with Super Mario or The Legend of Zelda. But do you think that they're testing this out right now so they can maybe a few years down the line be like, hey, you got to haggle with the item shop guy and he'll sell you a Zelda dungeon or a mushroom?
You know, with Nintendo, the hardest thing is you're never quite sure what the intentions are behind anything. So it's interesting, too, because the free model for games has been around for a while, and it is sort of a dirty word because it becomes either pay to win or et cetera.
Yeah.
It's been a big learning curve to that market. So I don't know. I mean, it's definitely them, though, trying it out and trying to see, you know, how well it does. And it's anyone's guess how this is going to end up. But I think it is a good sign that they're trying something kind of in a traditional sense with the way Steel Diver Subwars works, and then with Rusty's trying something completely different.
Sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
Right. So for more of a recap on everything that went down in today's Nintendo Direct, make sure you stay right here at IGN.
Ready.